Hello and welcome back to JustinTV. I'm your host Justin. You might also know me as Zombie. And first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for the warm reception to the last video. I didn't expect it to do that well, perform that well. You know, this is a side project of mine. I don't really expect it to go anywhere, but I just want to say thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate it. And it makes me want to do it more and upload a lot more. So maybe we'll see about doing weekly at 8 in the morning. I know I said in the last video I was unsure about it, but at least until January hits and my work schedule changes, I can 100% keep up with Monday at 8 in the morning. Because for the longest time I would upload these and it'd get, maybe like 100 views if I'm lucky, 200 if I'm really lucky, and I think the highest was like a 300. So, almost getting 1,000. Thank you so much. I didn't even realize it until I woke up the other morning to a notification on my phone that said I reached 50 subscribers. I was like, what the heck? Where's this coming from? And overnight, I don't know what happened, but I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. But because you guys enjoyed it so much and it got such a great reception, I thought I'd do something special for this one. This podcast, I guess I should just say, this has practically just been a podcast where I talk about things that happen in my life and things that I think about over the week. But for this episode, we have our very first user-submitted question. And if you want to submit a question, all you have to do is go to the description. My email will be there. Just send me one. I'll look at it every Saturday or Sunday, depending on when I log on to look at things and make one of these. Normally I do it at night, and I reply to comments and stuff at the same time. Hey, boss. I've been a big fan of the show from day one, and I think now's the time for me to submit my own topic and ask for your advice. There may or may not be a very certain special person at my school, and I'm allegedly head over heels for her. I'll try to spare you the ramble later in the mail, but I really like everything about this girl, but I'm a little new to the game, and could use some of Unk's advice, We met each other during a school trip to Paris like 6 or 7 weeks ago when I hung out with the group she was with during the free time we got to roam around the city. We were chill with each other, so I got her Instagram, and during the autumn break, plus the week or two after, we chatted quite a decent bit and got to know each other better. We seemed to get along pretty well with each other. We also had one pretty deep conversation, mostly about her being stressed about school, which is a pretty big ordeal considering some private stuff that's happened in her life, and still has a pretty big impact on her. The details are irrelevant, I think, but I do think it means she trusts me enough to talk about stuff like that. I really could go on and on about her, but long story short, she's the prettiest and cutest girl ever, and I also really fuck with her as a person. Also might or might have not started tweaking slightly when I walked into my Dutch test last Thursday and found out we were taking it in the same classroom, and that she wasn't sitting that far away from me. I unfortunately share 0 classes with her. Anyway, this might be the part where I could use some advice from an unk with some expertise in the business. I think my first step is probably to just start talking to her more, since I haven't really been doing that at all the past few weeks. I did talk to her a good amount on Friday, even one-on-one after French, so I suppose I'm making progress with that, but I don't know how to really go from there. Should I ask her if she wants to hang out after school? How would I even go about doing that? Do I ask her on a date? I'm kinda clueless. Signed, Gordon Feetman. First of all, Gordon, thanks for, submitting a question. I appreciate that. Second of all, I'm nobody's unk. I just want to get this out of the way first before I actually answer your question. I'm no one's unk. I'm 21 years old. I'm a college student. My brother doesn't have kids yet. I'm not pushing 40. I still got a lot to live and a lot to experience and a lot to learn. Now, let's get into this. I honestly think you already know the answer to your question. You're in that phase before starting a relationship where you're really just trying to get to know each other, try to get the read on each other. It's a really fun phase, but it could also be a really agonizing one because you're just trying to figure out if the other person likes you. Trust me, we've all been there. And honestly, I think the first thing you need to do is get her number. You've mentioned that you got her Instagram, but you didn't talk anything about getting her number. I think one of the biggest things you can do in the beginning is just being clear about your intentions, being upfront with what you're trying to do. And asking for someone's number is a lot more personal and deeper than just getting their social media. Anyone can get their social media. You have enough information about someone, you could just follow anyone on Instagram. It doesn't really matter too much. And getting their number also signals to them that you at least want to be friends with them. It could also lead to something later down the road, like phone calls and FaceTimes. Like, those are really special, but, you know, for baby steps, you know what I mean? It's a bigger stepping point than just texting someone. It's also a lot easier to get together with someone through texting them or just having their number than it would be from trying to communicate with them through Instagram DMs. It's not going to work out if you try that. Like, imagine trying to go on a coffee date with someone and you end up calling their Discord because you don't know where they're at or if they parked or if they need help finding a parking space. It would just be horrible. Then after you get their number, you're going to want to invite them out to do something. This is, you know, a date, obviously, but you don't just want to be like, hey, do you want to come to my house? And then just do nothing there, you know, and just like sit around and talk and do nothing. That's not fun, you know, that doesn't really create a memorable moment for someone. You're going to want to make a memorable moment that you both share. Now, you can do this in many different ways, but just going to the bowling alley together and doing some lanes. That's something memorable and fun to do with someone. You don't have to, you know, be content-brained and like, oh, I gotta hit this for the clip. Because no, you just want to share a nice moment that you both enjoy. You both don't also have to be good at something. It could be a first-time experience for the both of you. Or a first-time experience for her. Just if you're doing that and you're doing something a little competitive, don't completely destroy her in it. Well, where's the fun in that, right? Now, this advice doesn't just apply to, you know, relationships, like trying to, you know, date someone. Just doing that can also work with someone you're trying to reconnect with, your family, for example. A cousin of mine I haven't spoken to in probably years. I want to say over a decade. I'm not good at skating at all. Rollerblading, I'm terrible at it. But she really wanted to go to the local roller skating rink that she hasn't been to since she was a kid. And so I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. You know, you're only here for however many days, and I practically have never seen you before in my life. So all of us cousins went out. Some of my cousins that had kids brought them, and it was just a memorable night. Granted, I was drunk for the beginning of it, but it was a really fun and memorable night, and it makes me want to go and do things with them more. And that's what you're really looking for, a mutual feeling of wanting to be around a person more. Not that it has to be exactly romantic, because this isn't Alabama, obviously. In my case, there's no feelings of romance there at all. But after you establish those key important moments and you get to know each other better and you get a feel for how each other really are, then you can have those days. You're really just not doing anything. You're just hanging out and you're just enjoying each other's company. But it's a lot of work to get to that point. And as you were saying, you really don't know how to even start at this. And since you're both in school, I'm guessing, after school is your free time, right? So any time after school that you guys can just get together for a little bit, go to a cafe, go to a park or something. You're gonna want to do something with her that your main focus is, yes, on her, but there's also something that can break the ice between you two. Now, obviously, the best case scenario is that you guys get together in person, but I know that's not possible for everyone, so I want to help you out in any situation or scenario you find yourself in. Back when I was in the junior high, I was in 9th grade. My school district works a little different than some other people's. For whatever reason, they had the 8th and 9th graders together. But back when I was in 9th grade, there was a girl that I liked that was a year younger than me. So we were both too young to really be able to drive anywhere, and in America, you would know that it's kind of impossible to go or do anything when you don't have a car. And because we were in different grades, we couldn't take any of the same classes. Even if she was in any of the honors or, you know, gifted classes, I too was in the honored and gifted classes for my grade, so it just wasn't gonna work out. So while we did try to spend time together in school, there just wasn't a lot of it to be had together. Yeah, there was the walks to different classrooms and, you know, the occasional semester of being in the same lunch. A lot of the heavy lifting is gonna have to be done outside of school. So for the beginning and the majority of our relationship, because trust me, this was not a very long one, it was spent online, just kind of playing games with each other after school. we're in the 21st century, so if you can, use it to your advantage. I don't know exactly what your situation is like. I don't know what you have in your town and what you don't, what your travel situation is like. I know that you were saying that you had a Dutch class, so I'm just going to go ahead and assume that you're somewhere in the EU, which then says that you probably get around through either train or bike. But you don't really want to make her bike out to somewhere, unless of course she's like into biking around to places. That's different, but you know. So if you just both happen to have a game you both like, one, that's something to talk about with each other, and two, it's something to do together. I was personally always on the lookout for things that we could do in town, because she happened to live in town, so it just worked out. Me, on the other hand, I lived like 10 minutes away from town by car, so there's just no way that I could just, you know, walk over and like do stick in town with her. But when there were things like the St. Patrick's Day parade, for example, we went to it and we really enjoyed it. It was something that we shared together, and it was just fun. Granted, it was really cold that day. I was freezing my ass off, especially because I gave her my jacket, because, you know, we both came underprepared. But that's kind of like besides the point. The point is you want to just have a moment with them so you can really get to know them and what their personality and what their character is like. Because if you're going to be spending, you know, your life with them, you really want to know what they're all about. You could think that you know someone, but sometimes they hide that. And it's not hard to hide things about people. People do it all the time. So the more time you spend with someone, the more chances there are to really see who they really are. And more importantly, to see if you can handle it. If so, I mean, I applaud you. Go for it, man. You got this. Just lock in type shit. And if not, then, you know, you don't have to, you know, lose anything, I guess. The only thing you lose maybe is your time. And it's not a lot of time because you're not locked into anything. Just don't rush things and be confident about yourself, and I'm sure you'll do fine. You said you're a big fan of the show, so I know you're someone that likes thinking about how they think and just trying to be a better person than the person they were yesterday. So as long as you have confidence in who you are as a person, I know you'll be fine. I know you'll do fine. And I know that, hey, not every relationship works out, that you're gonna be fine in the end. Trust me, I've had a lot of relationships that have all ended in complete and utter failure, I guess you could say. And there are gonna be times when you're just rejected. That's just life. But there are also gonna be times, and I hope this is one of those times for you, that you find someone really special. And even if it's just for a small moment in your life, you get to spend that time with them. And one last piece of advice: don't go weeks without texting her or talking to her in any form. That you know, let's say she does like you, that could be making her think of so many different things, thinking, oh, maybe he doesn't like me, things like that, and other things. That's not good, because it could show a lack of interest amongst many other things. So I mean, as long as you show her that you're interested, I think it'll work out for you, man. I will say I also cut out a few things from the email that this was a very lengthy email, I'm not gonna lie, and some of it probably shouldn't have been shared, so I chose to exclude some things, but one of those things that I did exclude, and I'm just gonna say this for you specifically, and hopefully say it in a way that, you know, doesn't reveal too much personal information about yourself, is that she will more than likely understand if you're just outright and you just tell her how you feel, even though you've said that in the past. Don't play it off as a joke, and more so play it off as self-discovery. Or you're not playing it off, just you know, use it as a self-discovery thing. You're young, you're still trying to figure yourself out. She's still trying to figure herself out, so, you know, she's gonna relate, she's gonna know what it's like to do that. I mean, we all know what it's like, but, you know. Anyways, I hope you know, that helps, that gives you an answer. Maybe it's not the answer you're necessarily looking for, or maybe it's the answer you already know. Like I've stated before, I think you really know what you have to do. You're just afraid to take that first step. But if there's anything that life has ever taught me, it's that you gotta make that opportunity for yourself. It's not gonna make itself available to you just for the taking. So have some confidence in yourself, get her number, ask her out on a date, and I'm sure you'll do fine. And maybe the next time you submit a question, if you do, make it a little shorter. It was pretty lengthy, I'm not gonna lie. And you're saying shit like I'm cooked. You gotta keep the TikTok speak out of this, man. Let's keep this formal. Listen, sometimes I know I'll say lock in, but it's that's like Northern Lion talk, all right? It's, you know, it's a little different. But anyways, if anyone ever has a question, just again email me and I will 100% make a video on it if I can help you in some sort of way. If I don't think I can, then I apologize in advance. I'll write you an email back. I'm just not someone that I think has lived enough life to say that they have the answer to everything. Again, I check it around the same time I check the YouTube stuff, Saturday or Sunday night, until January hits, in which case I'll be working Saturday and Sunday really early mornings, and then also Monday morning, so I'll probably be doing it around like Thursday that time. I'm not too sure because I also start up college, and we'll figure it out when the time comes. A little bit about this run, just because, you know, before I was talking about it as I was going through, I didn't want to break up the answer. I was trying to give my boy Gordon here, by talking about this little speed run. It's actually my first sub 20. I'm not entirely proud of this run. This took me about like 2 hours to just grind out just one run, so there may not be another zombies one for a little bit, just because I've gotten all the zombie camos, and I'm just kind of waiting to help some friends get through some Easter eggs. Waiting for some new weapons to come out to get those camos, and waiting for the next map, really. I don't want to say I zombied myself out yet, but I've definitely zombied myself out of Liberty Ball's speed running for right now. I do think a sub 17 is possible. I was getting into the boss fight kind of consistently at around like 13:30, which, like, let's say I take 4 minutes in the boss fight, that's like a 17:30. But I just kept dying in the boss, and I was getting really upset. I actually had to stop and take my counting final, because of just how angry I was getting, and also because I had to do my final, which I kind of like low-key bombed because I didn't really study for it. I was doing Liberty Ball speedruns. I got like an 84, but it's all good because I ended that class with a 99, so it's so chill. Actually, super chill. There's some minor things with this run, like I used an Aether Shroud, when I was bringing the first canister into the church, and so I didn't have an Aether Shroud when I was trying to bring back the second canister. I downed here too, and I was kind of wondering why the game wasn't ending, but it's because you have to like actually get enough souls for it to end. And then I didn't use it to get the jet gun, because I didn't actually know you could use it while mantling, and I thought I kind of screwed myself from using it, so I just did the long way around of running up the stairs. And then obviously I also like forgot a few things this run. I forgot the little phone that you use for the I don't even know what they're called, but to get the canister, and then also to get stamina up. But aside from that, you know, a solid enough run, I'd say, to just leave it as a PB for a little bit. I did submit it to the leaderboards. I think it puts me on, yeah, 18th for speedrun.com. Not bad, not bad. I do think that the next one's going to be MP. I'm not sure if it's going to be Black Ops 6 or if I'm going to buy like Modern Warfare 2 or something, or maybe play some Black Ops 1. But it'll definitely be some MP, probably a shorter... definitely a shorter episode, because the MP games are a lot shorter than a zombie speedrun. So if we have any deep topics that require a lot of time, I'll definitely use a zombie speedrun for that. Anywho, This is Justin. I don't really have like an outro, but I'll see you guys next week, maybe.